So as you guys can see, that's David Benavidez, the Mexican monster, training with Rigondeaux, the Cuban master. Clearly, Benavidez has been training for David Morrell for some time now. And what better way to do so than to work with the myth, the legend, the one and only Rigondeaux. The biggest challenge Benavidez has ahead of him is the Cuban style, the way David Morrell moves. I mean, there isn't anyone on the planet that could emulate Morrell better than Rigondeaux as far as his movements, what Benavidez can expect, and things of that sort. And that's why Benavidez is working with Rigondeaux. We all can agree Benavidez is not taking Morrell lightly at all. In fact, it's the contrary. He's taken him, as smartly so, the most dangerous fight of his career. You ain't got to worry about David Benavidez sleeping on David Morrell. That's not going to happen. On the other hand, David Morrell, whether he was joking or not, he called Benavidez a RoboCop. I guess that means a robot in English. Morrell believes that Benavidez fight like a robot, meaning he has no footwork, he has slow feet, and he's going to exploit that with his intelligent, fast footwork, with his movements. This is so reminiscent and reminded me when Muhammad Ali was making fun of George Foreman, calling him a mummy, stating that George Foreman's style reminded him of a mummy. The way he moves, he's so slow. How the hell can a mummy catch me? Well, that's what Morrell is saying, which is why Benavidez is working with Rigondeaux. He's making sure to dot all of his I's and cross all of his T's before the fight with Morrell, which is going to make for a great fight. Now, even though Morrell can move around on his back foot as good as Rigondeaux, he can also fight on his front foot just as well. And that's what makes Morrell dangerous. Benavidez can't just expect to go in there and expect Morrell to move around. In fact, if you watch Morrell up to this point of his career, he barely moves around. Majority of the times he's on the front foot, he's actually the bull, not the matador. So when you fight Morrell, you got to prepare for everything. Well, you best believe that's what Benavidez is already doing. On the other hand, Morrell has to prepare for Benavidez's Mexican style, which is when he stands in front of you, he is dangerous. Benavidez's combination punching, his speed, his power, his accuracy, his placements, that's all dangerous, and you cannot even lay on the ropes against Benavidez because that's when he's going to let his hands fly. On top of that, Benavidez showed good head movement his last fight that I don't even think a lot of people thought he had in his arsenal. And the fight before that, Andrade, he displayed good skills. The way he approaches his attacks, it makes him dangerous, and you cannot sleep on his offense because this man knows how to put punches together. Last but not least, both Benavidez and Morrell have great chins and great stamina. What Benavidez is going to be looking forward to do against Morrell is take him to the deep waters, gas him out in the early rounds. His game plan is going to be similar to Gervonta versus Frank Martin, which is walk David Morrell down, make him spend his energy on movement, etc., etc. Then turn it up in the later rounds after he's going to try to break him down to the body, then turn it up in the later rounds. Now the question is going to be how well that's going to work against Morrell. One thing for sure and two things for certain, Benavidez working with Rigondeaux to picture the Cuban style once he gets in the ring with David Morrell. That will increase the probability of Benavidez executing whatever his game plan is, working with Rigondeaux. Benavidez at the moment in time is at the peak of his prime. He's the best version of himself. On the other hand, Morrell, he lacks experience, something Benavidez has over him. However, he makes up for that with a whole lot of talent. This is what makes this fight electrifying. This is what makes this fight a 50-50 fight and the best fight so far next year, even though we already have great fights lined up left and right on Riyadh season, etc., etc., etc. This is Must See TV on pay-per-view on Amazon Prime, so go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Coincidentally, we have a mini tournament taking place in the light heavyweight division with Benavidez versus Bivol rematch taking place on the same month as Benavidez versus Morrell. And the PBC have already contacted Turkey to line up the winner of Benavidez versus Bivol against the winner of Benavidez versus Morrell. And depending on who loses and how they lose, they can even line up the losers against each other. And then the winner of that gets a shot at the winner of the other match. Subscribe below and to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.